There are a lot of lessons that I've learned in leadership that I can see everywhere, and it all lies in the human needs to be respected, accepted, and valued, or we can say loved, right? And we can treat people like that in different ways, and we give some more, we give some less, and it's understandable. But when you're not conscious of this, when you're dealing with people, you create more people issues. And I remember how people used to react to me in the Marine Corps when they first met me. I didn't know what I looked like, but I know what I felt like, and I knew what I came through. And maybe they see my war wounds, right? I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior. So I had a lot of war wounds and I had a look about myself because, again, the Marine Corps, life in the streets, it gives you a certain posture. And it was kind of locked in with me. I was no nonsense. But once they got to interacting with me and they became, my team, whoever, my department, my platoon, my squad, whatever it may be, they knew that I cared. They knew that I was firm. They knew that I was fair. They knew that I would stand up for them. And they knew what I represented made them look good too, because you want to follow something, not that you like all the time, but you respect. And I earned respect from my men because I showed respect. My rank, I had to have rank to have power to do what I needed to do to take care of my business, to make sure that I'm successful, but also make sure that I'm doing something. And when when I got my teams, I really poured into them physically. If you was out of shape, you're gonna get in shape. Mentally, I'm gonna push you. Responsibilities and things like that. I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna give you a lot of responsibilities, something that most people didn't do all the time. Because I wanted you to be self-efficient. I wanted you to run like a well-oiled machine, and that was my that was my framework. And I remember when I was on the 31st Mu in Okinawa, Japan, and I just come out of another very high tempo command where I fixed a department that didn't exist. I mean, established it. As soon as it got established, they shot me to the Mu. Now, the 31st Mu in Okinawa, Japan is the most mobile Mu in the Marine Corps. It's small and it patrols the Pacific back and forth, back and forth. So we in, we out, we in, we out. Getting back off and back on in those short periods of time creates a lot of stress in the environment. And there was a lot of things out of line, right? So when I got there, I hit it hard. I had to learn it, the culture of that mule. I never been on a ship. Got on a ship, was lost for a while because I didn't know how to get around on the ship. I used to call all the time, like, "Hey man, I'm down here by some airplanes. Come get me," and they'll come down and get me. And everything is gray. It's nothing but staircases and stairwells, and I made sure I let them lead me. As a leader, sometimes you got to know to let your people lead. And when you learn how to let your people lead, those people will take you places, man. I want you to learn this the right way. Don't talk down on people. If you got to talk down on people all of the time, and trust me, I understand the culture and where I come from. I understand we got a way of talking to each other. I can talk to you a certain way. I can use the same lingo, but you're going to know I respect you. You're going to know I'm going to take care of you. I'm not here to make you look bad in front of everybody. I say, come here, bro. Me, I'll let you. You hear me? Bop, bop, bop. Okay, man, go ahead and handle your business. Do what you're supposed to do, man. Represent the team. And you send them off with respect. I don't want you to feel less than a man or less than a woman with my leadership, man. Come on. That means something's wrong with me. Don't put the same thing out there you received and you didn't like how it felt just because you got to the top. That's okay. You got to the top. Now help somebody else to the top the right way. You get that back. I'm telling you. You might not get it back from them, but you're going to get it back from another space in your life. I'm living proof. So when you're taking care of people, they're going to do, especially if you got to make money and you want to be successful, make sure your people are good. If you make sure, if you really, here's the thing, it's about what that person needs when you're dealing with people. If your need is to be recognized, well, recognize your people, bleed into your people and watch them grow and you will get recognized too. Simple. Go check with the psychologist, the IO psychologist. Go check with the motivational psychologists and things like that. Those performance coaches. Everything that I'm saying simply is what they're teaching. You getting it. I'd rather you listen to this at night than listen to nonsense. Fix yourself. Fix yourself, man. You ain't gotta be a bully leader. Trust me, I've done amazing things with people. Amazing things with people that I'm writing a book about it. Amazing things with teams. These principles, walking ethically, correcting your steps as you walk, because every step is not going to be a direct step. It's going to be a misstep. But as long as you can misstep and recorrect, you good. If your intent is to leave your imprint on this world and your legacy in a good way, that's great. You're going to have to make sure that you leave those imprints in people. People will tell your story. There are certain people that will tell your story the right way, and there are certain people that will tell your story the other way, and that's just nature. That's nature. How you think we know about people from the past? Because people will carry on and you will carry on in other people's lives. And I learned that, and I didn't expect it, but I learned it in such a way that it kind of came around and hit me blindsided when someone sent me a DM in LinkedIn 10 years later saying about something I talked to them about when they were a sergeant. And they will follow me on LinkedIn to see I'm still doing the same stuff. You know, when you start to figure out your life path, you'll see how everything's connected, y'all. And that's why leadership is so important, because leadership is not just about leading people, it's about how you lead yourself, how you walk. What do you represent? You're representing, you the best of your family. You're representing, hey, overcoming obstacles and not being bitter. What are you representing? Pain, distributing pain. All those things you have to make a choice in. And if you lead yourself in the wrong direction, don't blame nobody else. It's all you. If you lead yourself in the right direction, take credit for it, but also know you're being guided through God in spirit, right? So just a little more, some more conversations. This gumbo has a lot of things. It's still cooking because my mind is starting to cooking because I had one thing to do. Now I'm cooking with all kind of stuff. And a lot of times, y'all, I'm gonna let you know this is not scripted. It's not scripted. It's not scripted. A lot of times it's not scripted. I'm letting it be a conversational gumbo because I remember scrolling on TikTok trying to get the attention of people. You can go back and I'm doing a little funny things and trying to get the relationship stuff going because it's all about relationships, y'all. I gotta have a door in. It's all about relationships, and I'm teaching, I'm sharing, I'm growing, I'm learning the internet, which I had no love for. I had to adapt because if I didn't adapt, I would not be heard, you see? So I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm sensing, and I'm looking else. I said, man, it's a lot of garbage on here. Some good stuff is, and I can see some people mean well, but I can still sense their pain in their message and things like that. Oh, man, let me put something out here to help. Let me go ahead and pour out here, and I start pouring into my page and conversational gumbo. I said, man, if I was up late at night, what type of conversation I would like to have? My followership on TikTok came from lives I used to do back in the day when we was in quarantine. And I can say, and they're on here still following me. There's a couple of people that we save lives just through being up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning talking to people. They don't know that. Some people knew that about me, but many people didn't know that about me. I would get on at 10 and get off around 3 o'clock in the morning for days on end. Play R&B music, sitting here, and they watch me move from one home to another home, and show them what I was doing. Yeah, I did something I never thought I would do. And the perfect strangers, I'm letting them into a little piece of my personal world, right? And people would talk about all kinds of things, and they would share, and I would ask the questions, and they would say, "Thank you for the conversation." And I seen there was a need for people to have real conversations and real roots of something that's good for them, And they had people come in with pain, and I would say, "Hey, listen, I understand you're hurting, but you don't have to throw your pain in here. We don't mean you no harm. Man, be blessed, man. Go about your business. If you want to stay, just be quiet and get it. Because there's a lot of those people we call trolls. They're in pain. I don't hear all this. They want to cause chaos. That's part of nature. You got to stay focused." And it grew. It grew. It grew. So conversational gumbo is like I say, hey, you might get some gumbo while you're sitting in your bed, chilling, drinking your wine, doing whatever you do. Hey, it's a good conversation. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. All right. All right, until next time, I'm out of here. You hear me?